Hello, my name is Emma Hickey and I'm a naturopath and holistic nutritionist, and I thought I would just jump on today and make a short video about chronic fatigue, chronic exhaustion, chronic low energy, that feeling of just not being your old self. Perhaps you've had some kind of health challenge, and ever since then you're just finding that you're not able to regain that vibrancy and that well-being that you used to have. And I just wanted to share some hope, firstly, that there is a reason why you are feeling this way. It's valid and it's real and it's happening to you. And there is a reason, which means that that reason can be found and uncovered and treated. The difficult part is that because there are so many reasons that people can feel this way, it can be tricky to find out what is going on. But by working with someone who really investigates thoroughly into your health history and provides different treatment options, you've got a better chance of figuring out what it could be. So I thought in this video I'd provide a couple of examples of maybe things to investigate and to think about for yourself. So a big one that I'm really passionate about is non-celiac gluten sensitivity. So basically a sensitivity to gluten that is not celiac disease, but it's still a very real sensitivity that presents in different ways. I personally have this, and it was by accident that I realized I had this after my chronic fatigue of, maybe 5 years, a bit over 5 years, disappeared within 2 months of happening to stop eating gluten. And that's when I realized what was going on. And so now I'm so passionate about this, and more people need to know about this because it's not something that's looked into enough, in my opinion. So non-celiac gluten sensitivity usually presents differently to celiac disease. You can have no digestive symptoms at all. I personally had no digestive symptoms. For me, the main symptom was fatigue. And I started to develop this weird rash on my face next to my eye. But for other people, it can be a rash in other parts of the body. It can be brain fog, also mood issues as well. So that's definitely one to consider. And if you're looking to investigate that fully, the best way is through an elimination of gluten, and it has to be very thorough. It has to be 100% avoidance. So I recommend seeking out a practitioner if you're unsure about how to do that on your own. Other reasons for chronic fatigue, a big one is immune deficiency. If there's been some kind of immune challenge, often it's a history of a viral infection. So most commonly we see Epstein-Barr virus, we see cytomegalovirus. A lot of people will know this as, they had glandular fever, and then ever since then they've never been the same. So if someone had a viral infection and they never fully recovered from it, or often these infections happen to us during times of stress, and so we're already compromised in our ability to deal with that infection, and so it never fully gets resolved, and then it goes deeper. It causes changes in our immune function, creates ongoing inflammation, which on its own can be a source of fatigue, but it can also develop into other kind of health challenges. So there are ways through nutrition and through especially herbal medicine that we can turn that around, and we can get the immune system back functioning at its most optimal level to overturn that viral infection that can be remaining latent in the body, we can actually overturn that for good and can resolve fatigue that way. There can also be digestion that might not be working as it should, and that can cause fatigue because you might not be absorbing all of the nutrients that you need to absorb. And also it can be causing inflammation on its own if food isn't getting digested properly. That can be a source of inflammation, which does then lead to fatigue. And yes, any kind of liver overload, I would say, or burden for the liver can also be a source of fatigue. And this is a big one that is overlooked, and which I also am very passionate about. I'm very passionate about people understanding their liver and the things that compromise it and how we can help it. Things like alcohol and a poor diet and chemicals in our environment, they all affect the liver. And but even things like stress, even just being stressed or being in a toxic relationship or not being good with your boundaries, these actually directly impact the liver also and impact its ability to function optimally. And so if you're not then able to clear, we say toxins, but sort of metabolic waste products, just things that need to be removed from the body on a normal daily basis, if you're not doing that as optimally as you should be, if there's more coming in than is being removed, there can be a sort of backup that occurs, and that really does feel like fatigue. It feels yucky, you feel worn out, can really affect your mood, can affect your ability to sleep, which then affects your energy further. So there's lots of flow-on effects when the liver's not working as it should. So those are just a few things I thought I'd share about fatigue and exhaustion and low energy. Perhaps some of those are things you may not have considered in your journey on addressing that for yourself. So I really encourage you to look into those and to reach out if you feel like you need a bit of extra guidance.